Ladies and gentlemen, do sit down and make yourself comfortable. We are in our last session of day one of the India Today South Conclave, and it is only appropriate perhaps that we end day one by talking about something that unites us all. North, South, East, West. If there is one thing that is the great unifier in this country, it is cricket. And therefore, we thought it is the only appropriate way to end day one of the India Today South Conclave by inviting a cricketer who has played with great distinction for the state of Tamil Nadu, for South Zone, and indeed for India, and continues to contribute to the game in various ways, as we will find out in the next 45 minutes. Please join your hands in welcoming our special guest this evening, former India international, mentor, and the man who got RCB what they couldn't do for almost 2 decades and more, Dinesh Karthik. Please join us. Ladies and gentlemen, at the India Today South Conclave, as I said a little while ago, there is one thing that unites this wonderful country called India. It is the wonderful game of cricket, because it cuts across all barriers, geographical and more, which is why we have a very special guest joining us today. Please once again give a big round of applause to former India international, commentator, mentor, coach, much more, Dinesh Karthik. Thank you very much, Dinesh, for joining us. I want to start, Dinesh, by talking about what's about to happen, because we are getting back into India-Pakistan cricket with the Asia Cup. And every time India-Pakistan cricket comes around, there's again a huge buzz around it, excitement around it. Do you believe that we go into this Asia Cup, Dinesh, and I'm asking you to put your newfound Pandit hat, that India is firm favourites this time to defeat Pakistan in the Asia Cup and win the tournament?
First of all, good evening. It's quite nice to be here. I feel after a heavy dose of meals, which is politics, that a lot of what this day has been about, I feel I'm like the dessert at the end of the day in that meals package. Very sweet, very easy to eat, and just not too hard to consume. I watched a bit of the conclave when I was sitting in the airport lounge, and I saw there were some heavy topics as much.
You're the payasam after all the dosas and everything has gone out, the meal moili and all the various curries. You're the payasam for the day.
I can get consumed in small portions, I feel. So cricket is a bit like that. But the fact is that the way India has played in the last almost 10 years, a decade after the IPL has started, because I think that's where Indian cricket started getting to that strong place in international cricket, where we are consistent in reaching semi-finals and finals of various World Cups. So going into this Asia Cup, I have no doubt that India is the team to beat. India is the strongest team, and it is obviously our expectation that they should win, and it's almost the expectation every time they step onto the field. But definitely this Asia Cup, we do start as the most complete team, if I can say so.
Is that what has happened? That India is now a very formidable white ball team? Because we play a lot of T20 cricket, we play 50 overs, but T20 in particular. Would you say this is the best prepared, or the best, if I may be allowed to use the word, T20 outfit that you have seen ever since India has been playing the shortest format of the game? It covers all bases.
They picked a squad which is very suited to what they want to be doing, which is, I have a strong feeling they'll play only one fast bowler and Hardik Pandya. So my point here is...
No Bumrah?
The one fast bowler is Bumrah. The one fast bowler is Bumrah and
okay.
Hardik, and they'll play a lot more spinners. Varun, Kuldeep, Akshar Patel. So that's the kind... And they have a lot of variety in spinners. So that is what they'll be looking to do. So my point being, we've only picked 3 fast bowlers. It's not too often that you walk into a tournament, a World Cup, with just 3 fast bowlers. So if you see all round, it's the strong squad that suits their sensibilities and their mindset. But is it the strongest team India have had? It's very hard to compare, because across time, India have had put together some really good squads. So it's as good as any team that's ever played this format. For me, the most fun part about watching this current Indian team play is the brand of cricket that they play. They're very aggressive. They go from ball one, and they almost epitomize what new age batting is. And they seem to do it even under pressure, which is very important.
What is new age batting? You said new age batting. Is it that you go fearlessly from ball one, attack without worrying whether you'll get out or not? Is that the big difference between when you started playing T20 to where you are today?
Oh, without a doubt, the amount of shots that young batters have is a lot more because the game has evolved a lot. This format, the T20 format, has evolved the quickest because of IPL, because analytics came in. There were a lot of people that were under the microscope, and every year they had to get better. They had to do something better to do better than what they did the last year. So it almost pushed you consistently. You can almost compare it to football or American football, those kind of sport, because you're constantly judged and watched and observed, and you need to do something better. So the shot making has increased tremendously. The kind of shots these young batters play these days are extremely exciting to watch. And when you say fearless, absolutely. I always think fearless is a very easily thrown about word. I mean, sometimes you can be reckless. I feel you need to have responsibility as well. And that mix is quite good in this team. There are players who bat fearlessly, but there are also players who understand how to play the situation and they adapt. And hence, it is a very powerful team because they've got a good mix of players who can definitely attack from ball one, irrespective of what the score is. We could be 10 for 3, and you'll see people coming in and playing some outlandish shots. But there are also players who are able to absorb pressure for small periods of time before they throw it back to the opponent.
Is there anyone who stands out? Anyone, when you see anyone in this Indian team, when you see him from the outside and say, wow, this guy has something special? Is there an X-factor player you see?
For sure, with the attribute that he brings up top, Abhishek Sharma is extremely interesting in terms of how hard it is to bowl to him. He's a tall guy, he's got flat-batted swing, and he can hit good balls for boundaries, so he makes it very interesting. I think Suryakumar changed the name of the game, the way his weave, I'm sure you've spent a lot of time with your dad and have told you what scoring in the weave would mean, which is down the ground, mid-on, mid-off, a lot more. Now Suryakumar's V is behind. It goes between third man and fine leg, and he is so consistent doing it. He gets into such good positions to scoop a ball, and he is so hard to bowl too. On top of that, he plays high-risk shots, but still is very consistent at doing that. So these two players straight away come to the top of my mind. Then you see the likes of Rinku Singh. Hardik Pandya is someone who's evolved over time as a player. So there's some very interesting talents. But if you just say pure shot making, Suryakumar Yadav has changed how T20 cricket is played.
You played a bit like that, reverse sweeps. How, when I look at this from the outside as someone who was taught cricket in the old-fashioned way, is it practice that makes you play these audacious shots, or is it just the way the game has evolved?
It's definitely...
Do you practice playing that kind of scoop and a reverse sweep in the nets, even though it could conceivably hit you in the face?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Like anything else in life, you keep practicing it, and that's how you get better. And it's the same with these innovative shots.
And in a way, therefore, I must ask you, and I'm not now speaking as a Mumbaikar, as I'm often accused of when I talk cricket, why is Shreyas Iyer not in this team? It's the one selection crib I have. Here is someone who's done outstandingly in the last 8 months. He's not in the Indian team. Should he not have been in this squad?
Look, Shreyas Iyer has done everything and more a player can do. Let's park that aside. But if you see the last 20 matches that India have played since Gautam Gambhir has taken over, 17 they have won. So as a coach, I'm assuming that he has certain players he's looking at who have delivered results for him. So if he has to make the hard choice of leaving certain players out, I can understand. If you talk about the ODI team, then we can always say because the results probably haven't matched how well they've done. Even though they won Champions Trophy now, it's different. But I'm just saying, if you speak about the ODI team or even the Test team to a certain extent, if certain players who have done so well in domestic miss out, then it makes for a case for conversation. But in T20, because they've done so well, I think it's very hard to question why a certain player shouldn't have been there. But in saying that, I must say that Shreyas Iyer has been probably one of that players who have gone back to domestic cricket, did whatever possible, which is to help Mumbai win titles, came back for IPL. As a captain, he did phenomenally well, and even better as a batter. And I don't see anybody stopping him. It's only a matter of time because with those performances, it's hard to not have someone like that in the squad. And I'm a big fan of Shreyas Iyer because of the way he plays and the way he carries himself off the field with so much positive energy and the way he's led his team. I believe that he would have taken it in his stride, even though it would have been a bitter pill to swallow. I genuinely wish that he finds a place across formats, not just T20, very soon.
So can I headline it and say Dinesh Karthik would like to see Shreyas Iyer in the World T20 team? India's World T20 team?
If that is what you've got after me saying all this, I think that would be a pretty unfair headline, because after the squad is put, they also put 5 other standbys. Now, in that 5 standbys, also Shreyas Iyer wasn't there, and that didn't sit well with me, which basically means they're not looking at him for the near future, and that would mean to the World Cup, because India finished the Asia Cup, they have a couple of bilaterals, and after which they have the World Cup, which I feel is very unfair, and I think there is no way that he shouldn't have missed those 5 players. He should have been part of the conversations in the lead up to the T20 World Cup, and I really wish he makes it to that T20 World Cup because he deserves it.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Can I ask you though, that it all didn't end as well as it should have because of the stampede that took place in Bengaluru. As players, when you look back at it, should it have been done differently? The fact that there seemed to be this over-enthusiasm on the part of the fans, on the part of the organizers, on the part of the franchise, you go and hold a parade and eventually it ends in a stampede. Did that affect you all as players when you heard about it?
So we were in Bangalore, and you got to understand that we were told to go to an event, we went, and then when we got news, we were sent back. I don't think we even understood what had happened. It was beyond us. You got to understand, we are just sportsmen, we are playing a sport, and something like this happens, you just don't know how to react. And that was my first instinct, like, people losing lives. Could it change? I really wish it could, because it completely changed the mood. Even now, speaking about it, when you showed me the pictures, I almost wanted to say, sir, it's great to see, but, let's move on. Because the aftertaste that it left, there's been absolute radio silence from us players. And it was, as you would know, RCB is such a well-supported franchise, and it completely finished whatever our celebrations could have been. So it is arguably one of the saddest things that I have been, I feel even wrong to say I've been part of, because I cannot even empathize what those parents and the families must go through. But all I can say is, I just hope that in some way that we can, repay them in whatever way possible. And these are events that's happened, in some football teams as well, in different ways. And it's very hard to digest and accept, honestly, to have known that you were there and thereabouts and things like this happen. It's very unfair, and all I can say is,
But let me just shift the mood from there to what the IPL has done. It comes every year. It's 2 months where we all celebrate. We all have our loyalties to franchises. What has it done to players? Are young Indian players sometimes more interested in getting multi-crore IPL contracts than even playing for India? Is that one of the big shifts, and is that worrying for you? That a youngster comes at 19, gets a 10 crore contract. He doesn't probably then think of an India cap because he's happy with the 10 crores he's getting. Is that a worry going into the future?
I think the bigger worry for people who get big contracts is how they handle life themselves, because a lot of them have actually not lived up to what their talent could be, have lost themselves in the journey, and sometimes they don't know how to handle that kind of money. And that is going to be a big challenge for them. I really hope people who get big money are taken care of, psychologically as well. Because, when you're a normal middle-class person and suddenly you get this huge amount of money, you sometimes don't know how to deal with it. And I really wish some parents or somebody near and there who are able to help whoever that boy or girl is, for that matter. Even WPL, people are earning, girls are earning good money. So that's the biggest challenge. And yes, I think sometimes when you do throw is the wrong word, when you do get picked up for this kind of big money, the one thing that does happen is you start valuing this format a lot more. But in India, we have a lot of emphasis on 4-day cricket, on test cricket, because as you would know, junior cricket, a lot of it is still 4-day, 3-day. So the value for playing that is there. But you do come to a point when you finish that and you're tuning yourself saying, If you're going to ask a young fast bowler, what does he want to play? I won't be surprised if he says, I want to play T20 cricket more. Bowl only 4 overs. It's so much more easier. But if you have to bowl 15 overs a day, come back and bowl 12 overs the next day, it's not that easy. So you can't fault the player. And that's going to be the challenge for the cricket ecosystem. How do you keep Test cricket alive? Because that's the truest, purest, and the toughest form. And I really wish that lasts a long time, because that is a great feeder system into T20 as well eventually, because it really sets you up to have a strong player.
Okay, we just have about a few minutes left. We're going to do fun things. Few of Dinesh Karthik's favorite things. Okay. Or favorite players. Your all-time favorite player. Do you have an all-time favorite that you look up to and say, this is the player I love to watch? Who is the player you love to watch more than anyone else in the cricket you played and the cricket you watched?
In the cricket, I watched Vivian Richards. In the cricket that I've played, Sachin Tendulkar.
If you had to choose between a Tendulkar and a Kohli, you have only one place in your team for a batsman, who will you choose?
Many such questions. Many times this question is asked. I'm not going to say I have a clever answer, but my answer has always been red ball, which is Test cricket, Sachin; white ball, Virat Kohli.
Okay. Okay, you've covered all bases with that. Who's the most difficult bowler that you've ever faced?
Lasith Malinga. Yeah, he was. I just didn't know where he was bowling the ball from.
If you had one bowler to pick in your team, Lasith Malinga or Jasprit Bumrah, who would that be?
Jasprit Bumrah. There is no doubt. I'm not going to play every time against Malinga. There are other guys. But Jasprit Bumrah troubles the world across formats.
If you had to come out of retirement and you were given a choice of franchise, CSK or RCB, who would you choose?
Great question. Because I've played for RCB, I'd like to play for CSK once. I really miss not playing for CSK.
Chennai or so you're still a Chennai boy at the end of the day. You can be the mentor for Bangalore, play for years for RCB, but eventually there is the young boy of Chennai still beating in your heart somewhere.
Absolutely, sir. I remember the first auction that took place. It was in 2008. I was in Australia at that time. I was sure that I was going to be picked by CSK. I didn't even have a doubt about it. And the first lot, the second name that came was Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And he went for, I think, one of the highest paid players at that stage. And he went for CSK. And that was when reality hit me that, oh, I won't be playing for CSK. And from then on, I've hoped I could play for CSK. And in all fairness to them, they've tried in various auctions. But as you would do in any other team, why would you have 2 wicket keepers of high value when you can choose other skill sets? So I've always not made the cut for CSK, but CSK is a lovely franchise, and I've enjoyed playing against them. I've seen how much they've become as a brand. Brilliant.
N. Srinivasan, if you're watching this show, Dinesh Karthik is available. He doesn't want a fee, just he wants the CSK jersey once. So if India Cements and N. Srinivasan are watching, Chennai boy wants to come and play one last time for Chennai. Your favorite sport outside of cricket?
Tennis. I watch a lot of tennis. I follow a bit of Formula 1. I played a bit of badminton, but my favorite to watch tennis.
But in the family, you're squash. You're married to a champion squash player. You want your kids to be squash players or cricketers?
I have 2, so one can play each, I feel.
Okay, that's interesting. We have to ask this because we had a debate within our democratic newsroom in the office. Where do you get the better dosas, in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka? It's a serious question which has sparked off a huge debate in our newsroom. Where do you get the better dosas? The audience can also put their hands up. First of all, the audience, where do you get the better dosas, in Tamil Nadu or in Karnataka or any other state? Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. Okay, okay, Dinesh, what's your pick?
Tamil Nadu. So you got to understand, Tamil Nadu is more crisp. Bangalore is slightly that they make it slightly thicker. And in Tamil Nadu, the sambar is more spicy. I like it spicy. So the dosa sambar combination in Chennai is better.
You see, this is what happens when you go to Bangalore and spend all your time in a 5-star hotel. If you went to the streets of Bangalore, you might have a different view. But it's a contentious issue. And where's the best place for an idli? Dosa we've given Tamil Nadu. Where do you get the best idlis?
Try Sangeeta, very good, in Chennai.
Okay, so I think at the end, for someone who's such a much traveled man, played in leagues across the world, played for India in different conditions, when it comes to the crunch, Dil hai Chennai. And maybe because we are in Coimbatore and Tamil Nadu, that will strike a particular chord, because Dinesh, you've been someone who's always carried yourself wonderfully well on the cricket field, as you are now in the commentary box, as you are now as a mentor. We've had a wonderful conversation with you to give a sense of what it means to play for India, the IPL grind, and so much more. And one final question, Asia Cup. If Pakistan is not our biggest challenger, who is the biggest challenger you think when it comes to the Asia Cup? Is there any team you see which can measure up to India?
No, I don't think anybody is going to challenge India too much. But if, along with Pakistan, Afghanistan are very worthy competitors.
Okay, so Dil hai Hindustani, Dil hai Chennai. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to Dinesh Karthik.